The first time the whale sang, no one answered. Deep beneath the surface of the open ocean, where the water turned from blue to a deep, endless dark, a young blue whale drifted alone. He had grown strong and large, but his heart felt strangely empty. Other whales traveled in families, their songs weaving together like threads. He had been separated from his pod in a violent storm, pushed far away by waves and wild currents, though the sea around him was quiet in a way that hurt. He filled his massive lungs with air, dove deep, and let out a long, low call that rolled through the water like thunder. It was a sad, searching sound, full of questions he did not know how to ask with words. The sound traveled far, bouncing off unseen mountains and canyons under the sea. Silence answered. Days passed. He ate, he swam, he rose to breathe under cold stars, but the ache of loneliness followed him like a shadow, so he sang again. Each time, the song changed a little, carrying not just sadness, but also a small spark of hope. He poured his story into it, the storm that had broken his world. The fear of never being found, the quiet beauty of moonlight on the waves. Sometimes small fish scattered when they heard him. Sometimes dolphins turned their heads to listen, then sped away to join their own groups. The whale wondered if his song was too strange, too different. Maybe no one wanted to answer a voice that did not sound like the others. One evening, as the sun melted into the horizon, he rose near the surface and watched the sky burn gold and red. Maybe I should stop, he thought. Maybe it is easier to swim in silence than to send out a song that no one wants. But his heart refused to stay quiet. He took a breath, dove again, and sent out the longest, strongest call he had ever made. This time, he did not try to sound like anyone else. The song rose and fell in unexpected waves, low notes shaking the dark water, high notes shining like light from above. Far away, another whale paused. She heard something in the distance, a pattern that did not match the usual songs of her group. Sounded broken in places, but also full of courage. She turned toward it, curious without knowing why. With each of his calls, she answered with a short, soft reply. The young whale felt a faint sound at the edge of his hearing. At first, he thought it was his imagination, just another wish pretending to be real. But then it came again, a clear reply, like a distant bell in the dark water. His heart jumped. He changed his direction and swam toward it, singing as he went. The closer he came, the clearer the answers grew. It was not just one voice now. Little by little, more whales joined, weaving their calls around his lonely song. Some of them thought his melody was strange, but they could feel the strength inside it. For the first time, the ocean around him vibrated with replies instead of empty silence. When he finally saw the shapes of other blue whales ahead, his whole body trembled. Sunlight filtered down through the water, touching their backs like soft hands. Their eyes met his. They did not ask where he had been or how long he had been alone. They simply kept singing with him, folding his melody into theirs. In their circle, his voice did not feel wrong anymore. It felt like an important piece that had been missing. As days turned into weeks, the young whales stayed with the new pod. They swam together, hunted as a group, and rested in deep, still places where the world felt safe. Yet he never stopped singing the song he had created when he was alone. Sometimes, late at night when the sea was quiet, they would all sing it together. It was no longer a lonely song. It had become a bridge. In time, younger whales in the pod began to swim close to him, curious about the unusual rises and falls in his melody. One small calf, still learning how to dive without fear, followed him almost everywhere. When a distant ship sent rough noise through the water, the calf hid behind his huge body. Gently, he sang the softest part of his old melody. It wrapped around the calf like a blanket, steady and slow. The little one relaxed as it listened. The whale realized that the notes born from his pain now had the power to comfort someone else. Sometimes, as they traveled, the pod met other groups that did not understand his strange song. A few whales swam past with barely a greeting. A few turned away quickly, as if his different sound made them uncomfortable. That used to hurt him deeply. Now, surrounded by his own pod, he simply let their silence pass like cold water slipping over his back. One night, as he floated near the surface, stars reflected all around him like tiny lights on the water. He thought of the times he had almost given up, the silent days when he believed his voice did not matter. If he had stopped singing then, he would never have found these companions who now carried his song beside him. Some songs are not meant to be understood by everyone. Somewhere, there are hearts tuned to that same strange melody, waiting for it without even knowing. You do not need everyone to sing with you. You only need to keep singing long enough for the right echoes to find you. So the whale kept moving through the deep blue world, sending out his once lonely song. Sometimes the ocean was quiet. Sometimes the replies were faint. But he knew now that he was not broken, he was specific. His voice had a place, and he had found others who heard it and loved it. Far below the waves, where sunlight turned to twilight and then to darkness, his song traveled on, carrying a simple message inside every note. You are not alone. Keep calling. Someone is listening.